Hello, good afternoon, everyone. Christina Joppe here, animal communicator, and another video to do with any and all aspects around animal and nature communication. Today, I want to talk about an aspect, a benefit of animal and nature communication that is not really the first one we think about, but one that certainly has affected me quite profoundly. Obviously, the immediate benefit of communicating with animals is to get answers to the questions that we have for them. And through telepathic communication with your pet, I can achieve this for you. But there is another benefit of being in communication with animals and nature, and that is around the topic of life and death. And I'm doing a video on this today because this has really been, for me, one of the major benefits of being able to communicate with animals and nature. Perhaps you will have experienced a little bit of the same of what I'm about to talk about. And if you have never thought about life, death, animals, nature, perhaps you even have a fear of dying, like most of us, then I invite you to stay along and watch this video right to the end. In nature, there is life and death is a natural rhythm. We all know, every gardener will know that we plant plants, we plant bushes, and then eventually they die, some sooner, some later. Looking at nature at large, during our walks, during our ramblings within nature, we accept death as something inevitable. Even when it's on a large scale, like here in the UK, the Dutch elm disease some years ago, and now ash is dying, the ash tree is dying. So this is all on a larger scale and very, very, very regrettable. But nonetheless, we know that a plant grows from seed, spends its seed, it's being pollinated, by bees, etc. Hopefully, there'll still be bees in a few years' time. But, spends its seed somewhere else, and then another plant grows, the plant dies, having done its bit, so to speak. And that is a very natural rhythm, a very natural cycle that we all accept. We don't expect a tree to last forever. We don't expect any plant to last forever, any herb, any vegetable even, anything we see in nature. We accept that there is a cycle of birth, growth, life, and then death and decay in order to be reunited with the soil, so to speak, and act as compost for the soil. Now, animals are very much the same. Animals completely accept that death is a part of life. And this is actually one of the reasons why they live so much in the now, because they know that this red hot minute, this very moment, is all that counts. And more humans realize that, but still not enough of us. Animals very much accept death as a part of life. They, of course, like us humans, always veer into the direction of well being. But with every animal, there comes a tipping point. And that tipping point is when life is no longer a desirable state of being, but death is. And even though our beloved pets dying for us is very tragic and often a very emotional time and often a very, very challenging time and often goes on for years, for the animals, that it's a completely natural process and one that they don't think is bad or good or right or wrong. It just is, which is why also a lot of pet owners, are curious and are even yearning for a sign of their pet that has crossed over the rainbow bridge and want to know, does he or she have a message or want to say something to their beloved pet, because they still, see death, and many of us do, as something negative, as something that is non-desirable, whereas for the animal, it is completely part of their existence, as is for nature. And of course, the reason why we, us communicators, can receive answers from pets and nature is because we're dealing with the part of them, their soul, that's eternal. And we all have that part as well. So, having learned this over many years, I find myself being very comfortable with death. And certainly, my animal and nature communication has further cemented this, knowing that death, whilst of course we want to make the most out of our time of this planet, death is just really the beginning of another life. What lies behind it, none of us knows, but certainly knowing from nature and animals that their soul is still with them. I know that my soul will still be in some sort of way with the ones that I love, that love me, that I leave behind. And the more you talk to animals, the more you talk to nature, the more really you come in alignment with these things. And one could even ask an animal how it feels about death, which would be how it feels perhaps about not being aware of its body anymore, or even nature. Who knows what answers you may get? So maybe a question to ask in your next natural communication, nature communication session, or in your next communication with your pet, if that's what you want to give a try. So I hope this video has inspired you. I hope this video has perhaps provided some food for thought. Let me know what you think about death, about communicating with nature, about your own views of death. Is it very much a natural event for you as well? Just really perhaps a stepping stone into a different kind of existence where your soul lives on? Or is it something that very much means the end to you and there's nothing that comes afterwards and perhaps that affects you in your life as well? Let me know. I'd be interested. Thanks for watching.